Good morning, everyone. This is Matt Drankon, your pro advisor coach and host of the Eternal Optimism podcast. And good morning. It is now Friday, April the 21st, 2023, day 63 of 100 Days of Eternal Optimism. And as we dive in today, we got an action packed time. We're probably going to run out of time this morning. Hey, good morning, Brian, over there on Instagram. Good morning over there, Phil. And can't see who else on Facebook, but good morning. So today I've got three things to share. And first, I want to share the most important thing. Is that the open heart surgery yesterday for my stepfather-in-law was a success. It was a success. I was looking for that text all day long, and it came in that he came out of the surgery and he is recovering and alive. And hallelujah, thank God. Man, that was it was a heavy day with potential heavy stuff yesterday. We were praying and all kinds of good stuff happened yesterday. So he came through, and Julie is up there right now, probably watching this at some point later today with her mother. So love you all and thank you for just thank you for being you guys, and we're praying, loving you, and supporting you. So that's the update. So I wanted to get that off the chest from yesterday. A couple of you asked about that and messaged me. So thanks for asking, and he's doing well. And here's the opportunity today, team. How might you deal with all of this overwhelm? I've got a little bit of a situation right now that I want to share with you today about being overwhelmed. And yes, it happens to me too. And I'm going to share with you how it is showing up in my world right now. And I'm going to walk you through how I deal with it. And it might be a strategic and or tactical discussion for anyone out there who's ever dealing with overwhelm, who's got more on their plate than they can handle at one point, and it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to come up for air. I'm gonna help you with that today, my friends. Before we do that, I'm gonna read to you a journal entry that I come back to very intentionally when things are heavy, when life is heavy, when there's a lot to do, when there's a lot of heavy emotional stuff that's out there. This is the journal entry that I come back to. And I wrote it on February 9th, 2022. I'm going to read it all to you now. Good morning there, Julie. And here it goes. So Wednesday, February 9th, 2022, three big wins yesterday. Number one, did stretching with Julie last night together after the kids went down. Reminds me of the strongest times in our marriage have been when we did an activity after the kids' bedtime. Examples: 30 days of yoga, 30-day a 30-day challenge of a particular kind, 30 days of intentional talking, 30 days of video games, 14 days of reading. So we need to reinitiate this. So looking forward to that. So here's the learning. This recall made journaling worth it today, this month, to remember the basics that I so often forget or take for granted. This is priceless. It ensures I'm intentional in my marriage and in parenting. At the end of each month, I reflect on what my best looks like in parenting, in my marriage, and in business coaching. The daily journal reinforces and keeps me focused and faithful on the things that matter most. No effing slacking here. Now, that nutrition challenge. Let's see. Number two. Really found value in the calls yesterday with I name 8 people. Excellent business day. Number 3, I played 30 minutes of soccer with Caroline, Lily, and Lucy last night, and very grateful for the connection to see them grow and learn. All right, so I'm going to share with you now the journal entry that I read for myself whenever I feel a little bit overwhelmed or whenever things are just heavy. The emotional stuff is heavy. There's potential challenge in the air. This is what I read to myself. You can see the sticker up here. Believe in yourself. Well, this is it, team. Here we go. All right. Believe in yourself. I'm writing this for you. Whoever is reading this, pay careful attention and believe this to be true. Take heed, dear reader, for you are incredibly important to the human race. Just by believing in yourself and by learning to take forward steps for people, you are making a difference that is impossible to fathom or calculate by traditional method. You are important. You can do anything you put your mind to, anything. You have the power to right your wrongs. You have the potential to achieve anything you choose. You have the unknown influence with others to lead them through your actions, your words, and your attitude. Why? Because you have no limits. And yet we impose limits on ourselves. We have fears, we have doubt. You have the opportunity right now to choose to cast out those fears and doubts and make progress towards being whoever you want to be and having whatever you desire. You make that choice. Dear reader, it will be a challenge. You can be assured of it, and you can do it. Be a student of whatever it takes. Be resilient, persist, and always keep moving. Believe in yourself. You can. You can. So, that is the thought that comes to mind as I'm immersed in a little bit of overwhelm at the moment. And I'd like to share with you what that might mean from my perspective. Overwhelm. Well, it started off at the beginning of the week with the knowledge and understanding that my wife is going to be gone and that there may be, I mean, we are expecting the best and we're always trying to prepare for the challenges. And it started at the beginning of the week with the uncertainty around my father-in-law and his surgery. And we care deeply for our family, and this is it's heavy. Whenever someone in the family is undergoing a health complication or even something that may be routine to a doctor, such as a surgery, there's still uncertainty and doubt for those of us who are not cardiac surgeons. So it was a heavy week to start, and it's heavy for me to think about my wife driving 10 hours because you never know some other Yahoo out there on the road. I've had the same feeling a couple weeks ago, or last week when she was driving with all the kids in the car. So those are things that might have a little bit of, they might be resonating in the back of my mind. I might be just kind of sitting there. And you add on top of that the following things that are happening in business, for example. The podcast, I've got more people reaching out to be a part of the podcast that want to be guests. I've got more people that are posting online and social media that are commenting on things. I've got an email box where even though I have someone else look at some of the emails, there are over 50 of them right now that all require a response from me, or that in an ideal world would have a response from me. I've got an opportunity here with another community to put on a big presentation, and that could lead to a lot of revenue opportunity in our business. It will lead to a lot of value in their world. To engage in that is going to be a thinking exercise of probably a couple of hours. I've got a big proposal for a client, another big proposal for a client. I've got a new virtual assistant team of a number of virtual assistants that are working to help me to simplify things and take some of this off my plate. I've got this book over here by Alex Hormozy, the $100 Million Offer book, to work on as I'm creating this mastermind, and continuing a lot of the little things. I could continue. There are a couple more proposals that are out there. I've got the agendas for next week. I think this might be where it started when the internet when it started to go down, up and down all week long. As it turns out, it wasn't the weather that did it. It was me and my lawnmower, and I clipped the cable in the backyard near the back left corner of our back deck, and that is what caused the internet challenges. I didn't know that, and when we did fix that, the internet guy, the cable guy, came out here, and basically, I thought this would be something that would be very minimal interruption. Well, I had to basically sit with the guy for 2 hours, and those are the 2 hours that I had planned on using to plan out all of my agendas for the rest of next week and some of these proposals. So when that pivot happened, I feel that's when the overwhelm started to kick in, because I look at the calendar right now and there's no time in the day to do any of these proactive things. So that's when it starts to sink in that I'm going to need to take and borrow into evening time or family time to get some of this stuff done. And, so what's the silver lining in all this? Well, here's the silver lining. And how do you deal with overwhelm? Well, the silver lining is that I'm in this position to be able to work through all these challenges, right? So they may be difficult. At the same time, I know I'm up for it, right? And I know that we're going to get through it. I know that we are going to resolve it and solve it and come out stronger and better. This is the exact principle of our coaching program, that when the tough stuff happens, how might you learn to use this to your advantage? And I'm learning like a son of a gun right now in the middle of all this. So I'm grateful for this opportunity. This is a real first world problem. We have a roof over our head and we have food and we have clothing. So this is not a this is not a basic fundamental challenge that's rocking my world. It's a business challenge that we're up for solving. Heck, we coach to this stuff, so we're going to solve it. So how do you solve that when you're in overwhelm mode, when you've got more things on your plate than you can do at one sitting? If I were to sit down and do all these things and just straight up do them all, we're probably looking somewhere in the neighborhood of about, I don't know, 25 or 30 hours of actual time. If I get real granular, probably 27 hours of actual time. And when you factor in children in there and you factor in real life and you factor in, we got 2 soccer matches tomorrow and the Charlotte FC game, and you factor in every other thing that's going on out there, I'm not going to sacrifice kid time, family time to catch up on work. So it just makes for an interesting dilemma, interesting opportunity to solve. And here's how I'm going to solve it. So first, you got to prioritize. Where are the priorities? Well, always, 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 the priority for me and the way that my business works, the way that I think, the priority is to follow through on my commitments first. And the commitments that I have right now in business are to my current clients. So anything that might be proactive or expansion or grow the company or grow the business, all that stuff, that is going to play second fiddle to making sure that I deliver on my commitment to the current client. That's the number one priority when it comes to the business, is to follow through on what we said. Because when you're good at what you do, or when you add the value that you promised and that the client is expecting, that's the most important thing. The rest of this stuff, I can do it and make progress on it like one day at a time or 1 week at a time. And maybe it takes me a month to catch up on these things. Maybe so. I can live with that. I look backwards in life and I see all the gains that we've made in the last year, in the last 2 years, in the last 9 years since coaching started. And we've overcome so much, we've learned so much. We've been able to be curious and grateful and have some self-compassion. So we've really found some inner peace and happiness, right? And this is just one more business challenge to solve. And I know that we're up for it. I know that you're up for it, my friends, whoever's watching out there, because this is something that's going to happen the rest of our entire lives. There's always going to be something that is unexpected. It's heavy. There's always going to be more stuff that comes in for us to do. And if we've always got this constant thing, this constant fullness of activities, or this constant projects, you know what we can do? Well, we can just take it one day at a time, some patience and some grace with ourselves, be humble and be curious that, what is this teaching me? What am I learning from this? And you just, if you listen to the words I just said, I shared, this is how I'm going to be. I did not say, don't do this. Don't think this way. Don't stress over it. Right? Well, maybe there is some stress, there's some heaviness to it. And yeah, maybe that's true. And at the same time, uh, I'm going to keep my eyes future forward focused, handle the priorities, make sure that I'm investing my time with my family, always practicing patience and grace with myself, and especially with my kids, my spouse. Uh, and I'm going to do the very best I can for the clients. And everything else that's in here, I mean, there's great opportunities to expand. We can do this over here in the company. We can serve this over here. We can open this avenue over here. The book is being written over there. More podcast stuff over here. 24 hours in a day, I can only figure out how to do so much of it myself at one given time, which is why I have all this help that I've hired to help. And with all that help that we've hired to help us, we've still got to get them trained. We've still got to have these conversations with them and delegate things to them. And to get to that, we've got to first finish our commitments to our current clients. So, having said all that, that is how, my friends, I work through the overwhelm. It's through the words that I share with you in the journal this morning. I read that whenever I'm feeling heavy for some reason. right? And then after I read that, take a couple deep breaths and just realize, hey, it's just life. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to be challenging. That's fine. It's fine. I heard something yesterday. I did a podcast interview with a man named Randall Crowder, and I cannot wait for this episode to launch. This was a game changer for me. I felt like I talked to my brother from another mother yesterday. Randall is an executive down in Austin, Texas. He's a girl dad, just had his first daughter. So I'm going to make a big push for him to be in the front row dads. But Randall, he leads this company called Funware, Phun Funware. And man, I'm talking to Randall yesterday and just blowing my mind that the idea that came out of the podcast. We put the theme of preparation throughout the entire show, preparation, and how we're preparing right now today for the challenges of tomorrow. And the things right now that are really challenging, when we learn and we're prepared and we practice and we're curious and we're open-minded, we're going to figure out a way to get through them, and we're going to be better for it. We're going to show up and model for our kids, for our families, even better. And that's what we can do. The reason that I mentioned Randall is because he had a quote yesterday. And then I would pull it up right now, but all of the devices that my notes are on are being used. So I'm going to attempt to remember it, but it just had such a profound impact on me, a profound impact. And he said that somewhere along the journey we find happiness, and then he corrected it and said, no, somewhere along the happiness, we realize that we're in this journey. And that the key thought here is to find happiness first, is to be happy, is to search for this inner peace where when things come at you, you can be okay with it. And when you have this inner peace, like I have somehow graciously been able to figure out as an eternal optimist, when you find this inner peace, then the rest of the stuff, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Truly enjoy the journey through a lens of happiness rather than seeking happiness at the end of the journey. Something along those lines is what the quote was. But it was brilliant. And I had a great time talking to Randall yesterday. So having said that, team, 7:17 a.m. Time to get, oh, heck yeah, down there, Phil. I see you down there. Heck yeah. Heck yeah, baby. Heck yeah. Today's the day, man. Today's the day. We're going to make it a great day today. Thanks for tuning in, friends. Love you all. Make it a great day. Be looking forward to seeing you on Monday morning for our next edition of the Eternal Optimist Daily Live Stream. Take care, team. I'll see you. Bye. All right, we'll kill that one. We'll do the YouTube in the stream. End.